The chairperson of the Electoral Commission yesterday announcing the presidential results. But my colleague Raymond Dakwa joins me in studio with this new statement from the Electoral Commission. Raymond, what does this new statement say?
So the statement is actually titled "The Summary of the 2020 Presidential Election Results Without Techiman South Constituency." And more importantly, it actually gives us the details of that result. It talks about the MPP getting Nana Danko Akufo-Addo 6,730,587, representing some 51.302%, and the NDC's John Dramani Mahama getting 6,213,182, representing some 47.359%. Where there is a change different from what we were told earlier in her direct speech is where the total valid vote count. It says here that it's 13,119,460. It talks about the total rejected ballots too, and also the total votes cast in all. Then the registered voters is also there. But there's a caveat issues there. It says the chairperson of the Electoral Commission inadvertently used 30,433,573 as the total valid vote cast. The total valid vote cast is 13,119,460, and continues to say that this does not change the percentage stated for each candidate and the declaration made by the Electoral Commission. And it's actually having the heavy endorsement of the Electoral Commission at the tail end of this particular statement.
Now, Raymond, stay with me and let's talk about the significance of the change in the total valid vote cast.
So, specifically, if you take out the old one we were told, that's the 30,433,573, from the new one, that is the 30,119,460, the difference is some 314,116.
Okay.
And 314,115. I mean, if you want to put in the proper perspective, we have between President Akufo-Addo and former President John Dramani Mahama some 500,000, a little over 500,000 votes. So if you take this as very significant, or if it mattered more at any point in time, would have been half of that gone, assuming it was part of the vote in this particular case. But what the Electoral Commission is saying is that we didn't add the valid votes, the mistake in the valid votes to this, and that when we're doing the computation, we use the original number. So the percentages do not change. It's just when we're putting in the values, that is where we made some. That is what she said, not even what was on the statement. We don't know that for a fact, but that is what she said, the wrong figure.
Okay.
So she added 314,116 more valid votes to what was supposed to be the case.
Thank you very much, Raymond. Of course, subsequently, we'll get to go through this and the issues that are coming up as a result. Now, here is Majority Leader Haruna Idrisu declaring the stance of the NDC in rejecting the 2020 presidential election.
As a party, we have done extensive consultations and detailed analysis of the outcome of the elections as announced by Jean Mensah, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. And we have come to only one irresistible conclusion, that it's a flawed, discredited election. And therefore we reject without any reservation. We reject the presidential elections as announced by her. And we also want to serve notice that the blatant efforts even to deny us of a parliamentary majority will be fiercely resisted. The declaration by the Electoral Commission also smacks of bad faith, particularly when we are aware that our representatives in the strong room were sent by the chairperson to send a message, call it her special message to our flag bearer, Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Whilst they were on their way, then she decided to hold a press conference to do the declaration. So, whatever message was to be conveyed did not even get to President Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And then her petition they were told that leave it at the reception to address those grievances. Let us be clear, overwhelmingly evidence available to us make it impossible for us to accept this spurious and hurried conclusion of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, led by its chairperson, who has only become an appendage of the ruling New Patriotic Party.
That's the minority leader Haruna Idrisu there. We contacted the Electoral Commission for a response on the disparity in the figures and also the allegations made by the NDC, but we're yet to get a response. We also made contacts with the NDC to provide basis for the claims, but the party says it will respond in due time. Meanwhile, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, is giving the Electoral Commission a clean bill of health in its discharge of duties. Here is Acting Chairman of CODEO, Sheikh Arimiao Shaibu.
Our monitoring and observation is concerned, we think that the EC has done its work within the confines of its mandate, has done its work, made all the arrangements. If you observe, on the election day itself, you will notice the whole country was very peaceful and harmonious. Indeed, even with respect to the BVDs that we thought that could experience some glitches, we did not have information about widespread glitches in the functioning of the BVDs. As far as our checklist is concerned, election materials were distributed, election officials were present, everybody was made to go through the process and so on until the period of the counting. So, given all these arrangements, as an election observation group, we think that the EC did its work, and that could lead us to a credible election result.
Sheikh Shaibu also asked CODEO's results tallies with that of the Electoral Commission's.
In general, each candidate's official results closely match the PVT estimate and falls within the estimated confidence of 95% range and the associated margin of error. Also, the PVT ranking of the presidential candidates based on their share of the valid votes received is largely similar to what was put out by the EC. I just give you maybe two examples. If you take the result that was provided by the EC, the presidential one, the EC official results gave the president-elect 51.302%, and our PVT estimate also put it at 50.98%, and so therefore there is some certain closeness.
Acting Chairman of CODEO, Sheikh Arimiao Shaibu. We'll stay a while longer in the election headquarters. This time, the governing NPP says it will file a parliamentary election petition to challenge the outcome of the polls in Savalugu in the northern region, where a voter is said to have died after violence broke out there. The NPP had claimed there was overvoting and demanded an annulment of the polls, which the NDC kicked against. Listen to Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu.
They started shooting at the Savalugu police station. They stood their grounds. I asked Idris Umumbiankpang to stay in if it meant even dying with the last bullet, so that the evidence is shown. When it was counted, the NDC won. And they killed one person in Savalugu, Techima 2. Needless bloodshed in the name of somebody wanting to, by force, consolidate his hold on political power.
Now, the governing NPP has been responding. Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Dame reviewed President Akufo-Addo impressed upon the NPP parliamentary candidate in Savalugu to sign the coalition sheet in a bid to avert further outbreak of violence. He, however, said the party will take up the matter in court.
No, we're not giving up. I'm saying that we'll file a parliamentary election protest, a parliamentary election petition will be filed by the NPP, and we'll do so within 21 days, as is prescribed by a representation of people's law.
And is that what we will demand, a recollation of the results?
Yes, we will ask for a nullification of the votes in the two polling stations affected, the two polling stations where there was clear overvoting. And those two polling stations, when the results are taken out clearly, we show that the NPP won the Savalugu seat.
Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Dame there. Now, Now, more than 100 new names have emerged after what can largely be described as one of the most keenly contested parliamentary polls on Monday. Scores of incumbent MPs were asked from both the majority and minority sides. The NDC lost some 18 seats in the polls, but the NPP suffered more casualties as it lost at least 33 seats. Minority Manuel Kranting has more in the following report.
In the keenly contested race, which almost turned Ghana's legislative house into a hung parliament, some 21 NPP MPs who were either ministers or deputy ministers could not retain their seats. The exit notice was also served on some NDC MPs at the end of the December 7 polls. In Ewutu Senya West, Gisela Tete avenged her sister Hannah Tete by unseating incumbent MP and deputy minister for communications George Anda, whose co-league deputy communications minister Alexander Aban also lost in Gumwa West. Joseph Dindiok Pemka, a deputy attorney general, lost the Timpane seat in the Upper West region. In the Greater Accra region alone, the NPP's Bernard Okuboy of Lojokuku, Yao Boabing Asamoah of Adenta, Abubakar Boniface of Medina, Ebenezer Nate of Ablikuma Central, Elizabeth Afelikwe of Krowo, and a dozen others all lost their seats to the NDC. Meanwhile, casualties in the NDC camp included Damangos Adam Mutawakilu, Abdul Rauf Tanku of Yagaba Kubore, Umuni Al-Hassan of Salaga North, Al-Hassan Umar of Zabzugu, and a host of others. Prominent new faces entering parliament are Energy Minister John Peter Amaru, who snatched the Hohoi seat in the Volta region to become the lone NPP MP in that region. Meanwhile, Ophelia Hayford successfully defended the seat formerly occupied by her late husband, Echo Konsa Hayford.
Meanwhile, campaign manager of the NPP, Peter McMenu, says fallout from the party's primaries affected their fortunes in the parliamentary elections.
The management of the parliamentary primaries is a worry that we have to look at. I think it's one major area of concern that we have to look at. So we will look at it. We set an objective, two objectives. One is to win first round. Okay, that has been achieved. The second one of a gap of over 1 million, 1.5 million was not achieved. We will go and sit down, do a postmortem, and look at things we may not have done properly.
Now, the NPP's campaign manager, Peter McMenu, now executive director of the Africa Centre for Parliamentary Affairs, Rashid Ramani, says the situation of a hung parliament will affect work in the legislature. He explains.
A marriage between the parliament and the executive. And so if you take that arrangement in particular and look at the attrition rates that we have, it simply tells you that this is not good for the business of parliament. Because you get members of parliament coming in and according to our constitutional arrangement, you are surely going to have a big number of them being appointed to become part of the executive. So right from day one, I think their attention becomes divided. And then you have the opposition, which is supposed to be holding on and ensuring that the government is held to account for its actions. But at the end of the day, as we have seen in the past, everything comes down to a vote, and then the minority would have its say, the majority, in most cases, always has its way. But what we are seeing in this current election and what's going to happen in the 8th Parliament is going to be a completely different kind of arrangement, because as the figures are showing, we have a parliament that is divided right in the middle. And so what that means is, for me, if I look at the data, I look at what happened, I say we have what I call the 500,000 voter effect. So the NDC was able to gain the confidence of 500,000 floating voters, if you like.
That's Executive Director of the Africa Centre for Parliamentary Affairs, Rashid Dramani. Now, you recall this man?
I'm part of them. If they have sacked me, I'm still part of them. So don't worry, I'm winning for them. I'm winning for the party. This time around, the entire constituents are supporting me. So I'm coming back to Parliament. Just watch my lips. I will be part of the 8th Parliament.
That's the independent parliamentary candidate for Fomena, Andrews Amwakwesiama, who was sacked from the party in October after he declared his intention to go independent. Subsequently, President Akufo-Addo on his campaign trail said he cannot work with any independent candidate. Well, Andrews Amwakwesiama's camp, however, says because the party painfully rejected them, they will wait for the NPP to approach them first before taking any decision. Special aide to lawyer Siama, Seth Odro, spoke to Insura News today.
They say also throughout our campaign, you can say 4 more for Nana, 4 more for Leia. And almost your money, and this open kaya, you go for to crown this is an Akufo-Addo T-shirt, party T-shirt, and almost the you boom prepare, so can sense me.
Okay.
And to my memo, a group baby no more said, you know, you're an anti-assume. Nay, Sabrina, no way in any antennacy. But baby, why you could do nothing yet, as a young chin, Banamra, and the owner. Meaning, yes, but it's not about an individual, it is about the whole liberation movement, you know. And a party, you know, any
okay,
the party, they should come and meet us and let's look at the way forward.
So, more expect this party is a case of Babishiamu and Sana.
Minia, over John Board, you issue statement, he said, oh my, like, and do a Siam free party, no, Minia, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, teacher for you free party, no. And when you issue such a statement, public statement, I will be aware, say, we are no more party members. Now, after one who say, oh, yeah, you want us to come say a party members, Anna. Me too, I'm a day away.
Ms. Odro, however, says any decision that will be taken by lawyer Siama will be in consultation with the liberation movement that supported him to victory.
Any decision, lawyer and Siama will depend on the movement, will depend on the people who are supporting him. Lawyer, I know. Because it was a movement, it was a group, and the decision a lawyer be taken in parliament, you know, or your individual there, but or representing a movement. I am very successful in Ghana. I am making history not only in Fomena but throughout the whole world.
Special aide to lawyer Siama, Seth Odro, there speaking to Insura News today. And as we indicated, the 8th Parliament, which commences in January 2021, will have a lot of new faces. At least 113 out of 275 members will not be returning to the chamber. Some lost the primaries, others are retiring, and many lost the elections on Monday. Here's a report on how some of them are taking the news of their defeat.
I'm grateful to my constituents for the opportunity to serve them in the past 4 years. Congratulations to Ben Aiku, the Lejokuku MP-elect. In all things, we give him thanks. Let's build this country together with or without political office. Dear Do More partners, this wasn't the parliamentary results we expected with all we put into Ewutu Senya West constituency in the past 4 years. But I will continue to give thanks to God for how far He has brought us. I also extend congratulations to ASWC MP-elect Mrs. Gisela Tete Agotui and her team. I wish her every success and trust she will work tirelessly to continue on the progress for the better of our shared and beloved people of ASWC.
That's a report of how some defeated parliamentary candidates are taking their defeat there in that report. This is the Midday News here also on your election headquarters. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll hear how ordinary Ghanaians are reacting to President Akufo-Addo's win.
To reduce the size of his government. That's the first thing that I want him. And then tackle the issues of corruption allegations.
Free water, free light for the 4 years will not be bad at all.
This one, your dear, we're going to make every moment special. Whether it's
I see you, Kipo.
There's more than enough drama series to bond over. There is something to keep you.
What are we doing today, man?
Endlessly entertained. You won't miss the action between.
Nobody will be better. Ronaldo or Messi.
You know, go fit to rescue you from Auntie's questions. So
you said when you dey marry now.
That will give you ideas. Choose DSTV this holiday season and make it your moment for only 45 Ghana cedis per month. DSTV, it's your moment.
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Joje, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aplao. In the Eastern region, we're on K Poly Radio in Kofrodia. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sonmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrot FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
Nobody must make himself a tool of disunity to destroy the peace lifestyle of Ghanaians because of politics, because the consequence will be too much.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time now for sports. Baba Tando has more.
Executive Council member of the Ghana Football Association, Nana Safo Odro, has been explaining why his resignation as the Chief Executive Officer of Brekum Chelsea will not affect his position as EXCO member of the GFA. Concerns have been raised about his qualification for the role, as membership at the Executive Council position can only be obtained as a Chief Executive Officer of a Premier club. Safo Odro believes his position is intact at the GFA despite his resignation.
I've never represented Brekum Chelsea at the Executive Council. I have represented the Premier League clubs.
Premier League clubs, yes.
You understand? Sure. Because Brekum Chelsea nominated me and 2 Premier League clubs supported.
Very well.
So that means that the 3 clubs owns me, and they are all Premier League clubs. A Division 1 club couldn't have supported it. A Division 2 clubs couldn't have supported it. We wanted somebody in the Premiership who can go the interest of the Premier League clubs. But I think in the coming week, yes, we can look at that regulation again.
Log on to myjoyonline.com/sports for more updates. You are up to date in the world of sport. I'm Baba Tanda from London.
We'll get back into the election headquarters now, and President Akufo-Addo asked Ghanaians to give him 4 more to do more. And according to the EC, he's been giving that mandate. The president garnered 6.7 million votes to beat his main contender, John Mahama, who polled 6.2 million votes. In his victory speech, he said his re-election is an endorsement of his administration's policies and programs.
Just as I've been doing since January 2017, I give you my word that I will continue to work very hard to build a prosperous and progressive Ghana for which we yearn. The decisive margin of victory in this election constitutes for me an endorsement of the policies and programs initiated by my government and put before the electorate. And I'm determined to do all in my power to accomplish the tasks of this new mandate and thereby justify the confidence reposed in me. I assure you, fellow Ghanaians, that I'll do my best not to let you down.
Well, we had 4 more to do more ahead of the elections. Now, what does the more to do more for you entails? Let's listen to some Ghanaians.
President Akufo-Addo to do after January 7 is to reduce the size of his government. That's the first thing that I want him to do. And then tackle the issues of corruption allegations that have been leveled against some of his officials.
All that I want the president to do is to reduce the size of his government. We want street lights on our roads. Our roads are too dark.
We beg the president, he should direct the Minister of Finance to pay us all our investment. The money has already locked up for more than 2 years without interest. And so within his new term, we expect that as soon as possible, we receive all our investment from SEC. What I'm expecting from the government is free water and free light for the 4 years. Will not be bad at all.
You had some listeners on the Super Morning Show on what they're expecting from President Akufo-Addo in the next 4 years. Now, many of you may be heaving a sigh of relief that the elections are over, but you can't deny there were memorable moments during the campaign in the run-up to December 7th. Here are a few.
I rose. You be tired and don't be silly. We are the fans of a Pia Donko. never see.
Me pacho vuvuzela ho de yedi wonti a ho de ko. Ezu.
Na muni ma be kunti o kasa. The campaign na tosio. Motua mamia, na motua manila ante Vanderpool. Yeah, makani ye kwa Nila ante Banaman. Ah, Nila de Vanderpool de ende.
Well, let's hop on to social media for reaction to the polls. Becky joins me in studio. What are people saying on Twitter especially?
MFA hashtag I voted for John Mahama has been trending. Let me go to the first one. The specialist says you couldn't make it. I voted for John Mahama. Luis Edem says that 6.2 million people voted for Mahama, and I'm proud I voted for Mahama. A lot of people have been tweeting about. There's some celebrities too have been reacting to the win of Nana. Obviously, that Samini campaign.
And I've heard from Eno Baroni, and that's one.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get
so
more.
A lot of things have been happening.
I'll join you on TV in a bit to hear more. Yeah. Thank you very much, Becky. And that's how we wrap up the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Thanks so much for your company. Pastor Mensaltable has the win, part 1.
When you want it, just move on it. When you tire for